Good afternoon everybody, welcome back to a Chart Nerd technical analysis video. Today we will be discussing VELO, the ticker is VELO against USDT on the 1 hour time frame. So I am analyzing the lower time frames today guys. I will also cover the daily and the weekly briefly, but just for some quick reassurance on the macro, we are looking relatively strong and have bullish structure. So whatever goes on within this lower time frame period, I would just advise to ignore the noise. And again, nothing that I say in this video is financial advice guys, so let's dive into this. So at 2 p.m. on Tuesday the 10th of September, on the release of the recent BlackRock and Securitize integration for its BUIDL fund, we saw a negative reaction. Now, I don't think this was a buy the hype, sell the news event, because this was an event that wasn't hyped up and was just released on announcement by VELO. What happened at this point is we had a downtrend for about 24 hours, just over 24 hours actually, where VELO corrected around 30% and came back down to 0.013. Now, from this low on the 1 hour time frame, we are currently trying to retrace from this point back up to our 0.019 highs. So there are a couple of things that I wanted to look at on the chart here. One is this Gaussian channel, where since we had this top, we flipped bearish on the Gaussian channel and entered this downtrend, so this red zone, and we lost all sectors and all regression bands of the Gaussian channel. So we did get very overextended here from the Gaussian, and what we've done now is since reclaimed every level and actually broke out above the top band and had a retest back down to the mid band for support before continuation and actually getting back above this Gaussian channel again and flipping it green yesterday on Friday the 13th at, what time was this? At about 11 a.m. in the morning, we flipped the Gaussian channel and started diverting this downtrend and reclaimed a lower time frame bullish structure. So that's one confluence point to say that we are starting to reverse this little downtrend that we've had. I say little, it was 30%, so quite a strong pullback in a short period of time, but we are reversing this downtrend and looking to start retracing back to this 0.19 high. Now, if I remove the Gaussian channel and we get on a fib here from this low, retracing back to the high that we've fallen from, what you'll notice is that right now, VELO is actually running into its 0618 at 0.017. So this is an area right now that I'm expecting as resistance, but with the strength and the fact that we have had this Gaussian channel trend flip and we've retested the mid band here, we could just melt through this level. And if we do start to break out and hold this as support over the coming hours and continue this uptrend, then we could just be retracing straight back to this 0.019 high. But for this to come into play, I would like to see this 0.017 tackled with conviction and actually getting above it and holding it as support for multiple hours before we get that sort of continuation back up to these highs. There is also another sort of bullish confluence point here for us, which is if I just get the Gaussian back off, it's the fact that on the 1 hour we have also had a bullish cross and we've been holding the EMAs. We had this retest down here which did extend below them. We did deviate, but as I said to you guys, we had the mid band of the Gaussian channel to act as support for us. So we had the mid band of the Gaussian, we fell below the EMAs, but we eventually reclaimed those EMAs not so long after, and have since been holding this 1 hour 20 EMA. So for me right now, we have had the bullish cross, we have had the bullish cross, we have had a retest on the mid band of the Gaussian on the 1 hour, and we have come up to a key level of resistance. So right now it's just about tackling this 0618. Now, another reason why I think we are close to a resistance level here, or where I think we could be trying to break out to, if we break out of this 0.017, I think we're looking for 0.174. Now that is because if we zoom out to the 4 hour time frame, what you'll also notice, again, bear in mind this is a resistance level we are at now, we have also formed a bullish cross on the 4 hour. So we could continue this impulsive wave up to 174, which ties up with this previous high here on the left. Okay, so this previous high that we had back on this 5th of September, this could be where VELO is trying to get to and does meet resistance before having some sort of pullback to these EMAs for support. So let me remove these EMAs just to make this a bit more clear. think if we do get back above that 0.017 and that 0.618 resistance we're running into, as I said, I think we are trying to run back up to this high. Now, getting the Gaussian channel on the 4 hour, why I think this might also be the case is it's important to note on the 4 hour we have flipped bearish. So although we have had a 1 hour bullish trend flip on the Gaussian on the 1 hour time frame, on the 4 hour we have just entered a bearish trend, so we need to negate this trend flip. Now I think that this high will be met eventually, and this is potentially where VELO is trying to get to before it does come in for a higher low and confirm this short-term bearish downtrend. So this is a potential where if we don't take out this 0.618 resistance at 0.17, if we fail to take that out, we could in fact now come in for a retracement. But if we don't and we continue here, I do think we meet the top band of this Gaussian channel as a level of resistance as it starts to decline here, with the mid band and the lower band as they are coming down. So I do think that although on the 1 hour we have printed bullish signals, zooming out a bit to the 4 hour, there is a bearish signal with this bearish trend flip on the Gaussian, and we are sort of coming up to previous highs and looking to meet them as resistance, as well as the top band of the Gaussian channel. So we do have resistance above in the high 17s, guys, that VELO does need to break in order to invalidate a potential retracement to a higher low. Now, if we are going to come back in for a higher low and we fail to retrace to this 0.019, where could a higher low be in this sense? Well, if we have topped out right here and just put in our retracement to the 171 range, and we are retracing back down to our 0.013 range, I am going to get the 382 on here because this also does or has acted as a previous level of support in the past. So let me just drag this over. So going from this high, if we have run into resistance at 17, pulling back to 13 right now, I think we could come back to 157. Now, does this have any confluence of the EMAs? It's actually a little bit lower than these EMAs here. So before this is actually met at 157, if we do start coming back, firstly, you've got these EMAs below that could act as support. So you've got the 4 hour 20 and 55 EMA, which currently sit at 16183 on the 20 and 16103 on the 55. So we've got the low 16s as support right now on the EMAs. Lose the EMAs, you've got the 0382 and the 050 that could act as key support also. So we've got 157 to 153. So my overall key takeaway, if we do have a pullback from here, is coming back to the either the high 157s or the low 16. I think that would be a nicer level of support, and losing that, if we don't hold the 382, you've got the 050 at 1530, which could act as a higher level of support before continuation. And what we've got is from this low retracing back to this high, is we've had the low, we've got this high right now. If we can come back and build out a higher low and then start going for the break here of the retracement to the 19, and what we have is a high, a higher low, and a higher high within the retracement back to this 0.19 that we've fallen from. So I think it would be very healthy if we do get a pullback here. The 1 hour, as I said, does look relatively bullish, and we could see continuation up to previous highs at 17.4 that we had over here on the left on the 5th of September. So if we do see any continuation, I would expect this local high of previous resistance to be met as resistance once more, and then we potentially come back for the higher low. Or what it is, as I've just said, is we ran into this resistance now and we come back to either the low 16s or the high 15s for a higher level of support before breaking out and retracing to these 19 highs. So that's the micro sort of lower time frame outlook for me right now. We could be running into a level of resistance very shortly. I've given you the levels to look for support if we do have a pullback on the lower time frames. Now, quickly zooming out to the weekly, I would like to reaffirm again once more, we are extremely close, guys, extremely close to forming this weekly bullish cross. And this is why it's important to zoom out, because on the lower time frames, you might get caught up in all the other crosses, and you can use EMAs to analyze, lower time frame trends and help give direction of momentum of price action. But at the same time, zooming out to the weekly does give you a bigger picture, and these patterns are more reliable on the larger time frame. So if we can coil up and form this cross where this 20 crosses over the red here, it's the first time in VELO's history, if you look back through VELO's history, that this would occur, and it would be an absolutely monstrous signal. Now, let me just reaffirm again once more that right now we are doing everything we need to on the macro to confirm this. Okay, because we've got From the all-time lows, we've got a low, a high, a higher low, we've got a higher high, we've got another higher low right here. As long as we can hold support in these EMAs, form this cross, I think the 0.028 highs are going to be met recently quickly. As long as we can hold support on these EMAs and form this cross. And right now, just zooming in a little bit here, you'll notice that we have had this wick down this week where we had that 30% correction back down to the 55 EMA for support. So we are seeing strong relief off of this range, and it does look like the VELO wants to form it. You'll notice that in the past, from this higher low that we had here, retracing from this high, we did sort of build back up and overshoot above the EMAs, looking to form the bullish cross here somewhere, but in the same time we had weeks of correction and failed. We fell below the EMAs. Right now we've built this double bottom, which I spoke about many times, and from this double bottom we have broken out, met the technical target, had a pullback to the 55 on the weekly on this cross that's forming, looking for continuation. So it's all about holding these EMAs on the weekly right now, and allowing this cross to form in order for us to see continuation back up to these 2.8 highs. So right now everything remains bullish on the macro, rest assured, until it doesn't, and I will update you if that changes. On the lower time frames, I've given you your targets onto my bullish outlook, going up to the 17.4 range before having some sort of pullback. Break that, you've got the 19 straight ahead, okay guys, because we are looking relatively strong. As I've said, failing to break above the 17 range, you've got the low 16s and high 15s as support, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the content today from Chart Nerd TA. Take care. Peace out.